This young lad was sent to prison in 1877, aged just 18. And today I will tell you his story. Richard George Medlock was born in 1860 in Cambridge, Cambridgeshire, to George Medlock and Mary Ann Manning. The family lived in Gloucester Street, Cambridge, where his father worked as a carpenter. He was the seventh of 8 children born to the marriage. In 1877, he got in trouble with the law. It said Richard George Medlock, 18, an errand boy, a fruit seller, with stealing a shilling and 6pence, the property of his employer. It appears that on Saturday, the prisoner was helping at Mr. Creek's stall, and after waiting on a customer, he put into the box what he had taken and took out of it a shilling and 6pence. The prosecutor saw him do it and took the money from him and gave him into custody. The prisoner pleaded guilty and, after a severe reprimand, was sentenced to 6 weeks hard labour. Richard was probably stealing out of desperation. His mother had passed away when he was 10 years old, and his father was struggling to bring up the children on his own. On the 14th of February 1880, he married Elizabeth Day at St Matthew's, Cambridge, and over the next 14 years they had 8 children. Richard worked as a builder's labourer, and the family lived at 8 Bunley Place, Cambridge. In 1895, he was in trouble again. This time, he was charged with being drunk in Jesus Lane on Saturday night, and also with having used bad language and resisted PC John White in the execution of his duty. The prisoner admitted being drunk, but pleaded ignorance to the other charge. The constable found him lying upon the pavement drunk and refused to go away. He was fined 5 shillings and costs, and was allowed a fortnight in which to pay. Sadly, his wife Elizabeth passed away in 1899 from tuberculosis. In 1907, he appeared in the newspaper again, this time with attempting to unalive himself. It said Richard George Medlock, 50, a market porter of 20 Burley Place, was charged on remand with attempting to unalive himself by drinking a quantity of carbolic acid on June 22nd. Geoffrey Parker, house surgeon of Adam Brooks Hospital, said when prisoner arrived he was in a collapsed condition and smelt of carbolic disinfectant. Witness found traces of carbolic disinfectant. He asked prisoner why he took the stuff, and he replied that lately he had been feeling depressed, and people had been following him about. There was no evidence of mental unsoundness in prisoner. Prisoner said he was very sorry for the occurrence, and he would see that it did not occur again. The magistrates bound the prisoner over to keep the peace for 6 months. The mayor said, "You ought to be very grateful to Sergeant Gates for his timely assistance." Richard said, "I am very much obliged to him, sir." By 1911, he was lodging at a public house in East Road, Cambridge. Richard passed away in 1915, aged 55. It seems he struggled to cope after his wife passed away. So rest in peace, Richard. You will be remembered.